With their first pick in the 2021 NBA Draft, the Philadelphia 76ers have taken Jaden Springer, the guard out of Tennessee, in round one at number 28 overall. I think a pretty good value for the promising young guard from the Volunteers. Now, according to our own Chase Sr., our NBA draft expert here at Chat Sports, Springer was his number 8 guard and the number 21 overall player on his board. So you get him here at 28. Pretty good value, and that grade is pretty similar to what else I've seen around the NBA. The consensus board probably puts him somewhere just above the 28th overall pick, and I think he could be a pretty darn good fit for the Philadelphia 76ers. There are some issues why he's here, despite shooting 43.5% from deep. We'll get to that in a minute. Springer is able to score. He's kind of almost an undersized combo guard. He checks in at 6'4". I will make note, has a 6'8" wingspan. He's not the biggest guy, but he is fairly long, and you can probably bulk him up a little bit in the NBA. Now, I don't think Springer's an elite passer, but I think he brings you enough passing ability that he would be able to handle, maybe not full-time point guard duties, but again, be able to handle that in bits and spurts, kind of like how maybe a Jalen Brunson does, for example, for the Mavs, or maybe even a little bit less of a ball handle, but Malcolm Brogdon, if he, of course, ends up hitting. Got a bit of a spring in his step, if you will. Pretty decent athlete right there. Only averaged 2.9 assists per game, but for the most part, he was involved more as a shot creator for himself, more so than a shot creator for others there. He is this, and this makes a lot of sense for Philadelphia. He's an awesome on-ball defender. He is a very young, he's only 18, is 18, turns 19 in September. He is a very good defender, something Philadelphia has liked quite a bit in recent years. He has potential as a 3-and-D kind of combo guard. We'll go more in depth here on Springer in just a second. But first, grade the pick for me. How you feel about this selection by the 76ers? A, B, C, D, or F? Get your votes in the comment section right now. Now, the big concern for me as it relates to Springer, quite simply, is the shooting. Despite being an SEC all-freshman and averaging 12.5 points per game, there are shooting concerns here, namely when he's not driving to the rim. I'll read off some stats here. Made pull-up jumpers at a 31% rate. That's really bad. 429th out of 463 with those, at least 50 pull-up attempts there. And he was not taking deep jumpers either. He took only shot 25% on 30-plus jumpers within 17 feet of the rim. That's not a great thing. I think he can become a mid-range killer, but it's certainly not there yet. And despite shooting a very high percentage from deep of 43.5%, that is deceptive. Despite playing 25 games, Springer took a meager 45 three-point attempts. The hustle is there. The defense is there. The shooting is not there yet. He only took 9 dribble jumper three-pointers last year despite being a guard. That is a bit of a red flag. If the shooting comes along, Springer could be a great value pick here for the Sixers. Maybe not quite Tyrese Maxey, but I think he is a very promising 3-and-D 2 guard if the shot comes along. If not, he's not quite the Andre Roberson level, but that's the big-time red flag here for the Sixers and for Jaden Springer. Now, we will break down the upcoming 76ers picks here in a little bit, the 2, for now, round 2 picks they have. If you want that breakdown, plus some draft grades and videos all off-season long, hit that big red button and subscribe. The sooner we get to 1,000 subscribers, the more videos you guys can get going forward. The buzz leading up to the draft was, hey, would Ben Simmons be traded? And so far, nobody really knows. I still think a trade happens, but probably not right now. I'm a little surprised what the future holds for Simmons, or I should say curious what the future holds for Ben Simmons. I don't think necessarily that Jaden Springer ends up being a starter for Philadelphia. You're in the back end of round 1. You're open for a rotation, guys. Maybe your 8th best player on your roster. That ends up being a pretty good value there. He'll be behind Seth Curry. He'll be behind, I think, maybe Matisse Thybulle. We'll see if his shot ever fully comes along right there. I think Tyrese Maxey, maybe even Shake Milton will all be ahead of Springer, but if they trade Simmons, that does open up some front court minutes, short-term and long-term, for the newest Philadelphia 76er in Jaden Springer. So who should the 76ers draft next? Get your votes in for me, and we'll see later on tonight if they keep their picks at the back end of round 2.